Stop asking what's the fastest way to pay off your debt. Instead, you want to ask what's the fastest way you can build your net worth. Because surprisingly, the process might be different. I sat down with a college graduate who had $30,000 in student debt, which isn't far different than most people. Using the absolute value method, which is the method I would suggest you use for the best mathematical return, we were able to calculate that over the course of 30 years, she would save $250,000 more by using this absolute value method. The absolute value method also puts an end to one of the most common questions I get, and that is it better to pay off debt or invest the difference? And if you're new here, I really appreciate a like, a subscribe, and to ring that notification bell so hard it would make the Liberty Bell jealous. But back into the details. Some of the more common methods that you've probably heard of are the Avalanche and the Snowball method. For those who already know these methods, I've put timestamps in the description below for you to check out. But this is the essential basics that I need to cover first. I'm going to first start with the Avalanche method. The Avalanche method suggests that you put your money in the debt that has the highest rate of return first. Then you follow up by the second highest, then the next and the next until all the debts are paid off. The Snowball method, popularized by financial self-help guru Dave Ramsey, suggests that you pay off the ones with the smallest balance first. And the reason why you do that is because it gives you this sense of fulfillment and leaves you striving to pay off more debt and to save more money. And that psychology of opportunity cost, that psychic benefit that you can't measure, actually provides a better return than the Avalanche method. The Snowball method is actually wildly successful among a lot of individuals, even though it might not mathematically be the best option. And this is why there's a discrepancy between the two. However, what I'm here to tell you is that there's even a more mathematically efficient way to pay off your debt, so to speak, than the Avalanche method. And that is the absolute value method. And before I tell you what that is, I need to ask you a question. And this question is really important, so I need you to pause the video if you have to think about it. Would you rather one account with $10,000 making 5%, or two accounts with $5,000 making 5%? And again, take your time to think about it. The answer? They're the same. Believe it or not, we're actually taught this in math as the distributive property, but the application of the process hasn't been connected with us yet. And I'll show you that in Excel. This is a spreadsheet to demonstrate the same question I just asked. Would you rather have $10,000 in one account making 5%, or two accounts with $5,000 making 5%? Well, you can see in the first year, these two accounts both gained $250 for a total of $10,500. In the first account, it went 5% from $10,000, also $10,500. Notice that the next year is the same, and the next year, and it went out even 35 years, and the results are still the same. This stems from the distributive property that we were taught in school. If you notice, 1% times $1,000 is the same as 1% times 500 plus $500, which is the same as 1% times 500 plus 1% times 500, and continuing. This is where I bring in the notion of the denomination effect. The denomination effect suggests that we bring that all the way to the lowest base currency, which in our instance is a penny. 1% times a penny plus 1% times a penny, all the way until you get to $1,000 is going to be $10. And here's the reason why we do that. To apply the absolute value method, we take the denomination effect and apply it to our net worth. So imagine your net worth all converted into the lowest denomination, so pennies. Then imagine buckets for each account you have. On each bucket, you would write the rate of return that it has. Whether it's positive or negative, you would write the absolute value. For instance, for credit card debt, you could put 26%, they're usually really high. Investments, 7%. Student loan debt, which is losing you money, usually negative 4%, we'll just say 4%. From here, you take all those pennies and first distribute the minimums, the things that are required so you don't pay any fees, get dinged on credit scores or anything of the like. You distribute all that out, and whatever you have left, you put into the buckets with the highest return, and you keep putting in it until it fills up. Once it fills up, then you move on to the next highest rate, and as that fills up, you continue and continue and continue. This absolutely yields you the highest net worth as fast as you can, even more so than the Avalanche or the Snowball method. And obviously, I'm not going to let you take my word for it. We're going to get into Excel and I'm going to show you the math and prove it. In this Excel sheet, I have the Snowball method, the Avalanche method, and the absolute value method all broken down into different tables. I made a parable person that had credit card debt, investments, and student debt. We'll just pretend that the credit card debt's at 26.5% interest, the investments at 7%, and the student debt at 4.34%. Now, underneath that, I have the monthly rate. Underneath that, I have the minimum payments, which for credit card debt is $25 and student debt is $100. And then the balances. Student debt at $1,000, credit card debt at $3,000, making this parable person net worth negative $4,000. Now let's pretend that you have $500 in income. This person would first pay the minimums, and then, according to the Snowball method, would pay the smallest balance first, which in this case is student debt. So we paid $25 to the credit card debt, and then the remainder to student debt until it's paid off. Then we would focus our efforts on credit card debt, and then we can start investing. This results in the smallest net worth of $1,714.91. Moving on to the Avalanche method. Same concepts are there, except now with that $500, we're going to put $100 in student debt because that's mandatory, and then the remainder is going to go focusing on the credit card debt. Once the credit card debt's eliminated, then we're going to focus on the student debt. Once the student debt's eliminated, then we can start investing. This time our net worth is $1,786.18. Finally, absolute value method. This time we do it in order of percentages, positive or negative, doesn't matter. So we focus all our effort on the credit card debt because that's the highest rate. And then we move into investing. We're still paying the minimum on student debt the entire time. We just don't put any extra into it. And at the very end, we're left with $1,786.46. Now, that is only a 28-cent difference from the Avalanche method, but keep in mind, we only have $500 as an income. This is over the span of only 1 year, and the debt balances are very, very low, especially considering the fact that usually when people graduate college, they can have anywhere between 20, 30, even $100,000, $130,000 in debt. So it definitely does make an enormous difference, and that's why when I sat down with the person that just graduated college, we found out that their use of the absolute value method made up for a $250,000 difference between the absolute value method and the Avalanche method or the Snowball method. And that's crazy. Now this is pivotal and super crucial to the effectiveness and the execution of the absolute value method. Just like the Avalanche method, it is not invincible to the psychology of opportunity cost. If you thought paying down debt and not seeing a difference was hard to get over, well, what about not paying your debts at all except for the minimums and investing it? Especially, what if there's a market crash? Even though over the course of time, it still works out in your favor. So I hope you took out of this that the best question to ask isn't how to pay off your debt the fastest. It is how to grow your net worth the fastest. If you like this video, I hope you consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell. How about you drop a comment down below on what you find is your greatest individual rate of return and your opportunity, so that way other people can get a chance to learn. If you like this content, I can't wait to put out more videos. I got so much in the pipeline, such as the 7 and 6% savings rates and why they aren't what you think they are. My year-to-date performance, my net worth, average cost per share is meaningless. Why I don't use a Webull referral link. That's important. I can't wait to do that one. How to do a stock portfolio update the right way. My first week on YouTube. Why a 1.5% cashback credit card might not be the same as another 1.5% cashback credit card. Lastly, my subscriber count has been exponential to a point where I wish I had stock in it. And it's all thanks to everyone who's been following me on my journey. It's been 1 week into it, and I've already had 150 views on my last post, and I can't say enough about how much I appreciate everyone watching, following, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you all, and until next time.